I drive the same stretch of highway every night. 200 miles between the warehouse where I work and the apartment where I sleep. I've been doing it for 4 years. Same roads, same signs, same empty darkness on either side. You learn things when you drive alone at night. You learn which gas stations are safe and which ones feel wrong. You learn that truckers flash their lights to warn each other about speed traps. You learn that the highway has rules. Unwritten rules that nobody teaches you, but everyone who drives at night eventually understands. The most important rule is this: never stop at a rest stop after 1 a.m. I learned that rule 3 weeks ago, and I learned it the hard way. It was a Tuesday night, or maybe Wednesday. The days blur together when you work the night shift. I was about 100 miles into my drive when I saw the sign. Rest stop 2 miles. My back was aching from loading boxes all night and my eyes were getting heavy. I told myself I'd just pull over for 5 minutes, just stretch my legs, just close my eyes for a moment. I pulled off the highway. The rest stop was small. A single building with bathrooms, a few parking spaces, one flickering street light that cast long, dancing shadows across the asphalt. There was one other car in the lot, an old sedan, dark color, engine off. I didn't think much of it. Someone else probably had the same idea as me. Pull over, rest, continue on. I parked and got out. The air was cold, colder than it should have been for that time of year. I remember thinking that was strange. I remember pulling my jacket tighter around myself. The bathroom building was dark. The lights inside weren't working. I decided to just walk around the lot instead. Stretch my legs, get the blood flowing. That's when I noticed something about the other car. It wasn't empty. There was someone in the driver's seat. A woman, sitting perfectly still, both hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead through the windshield. She wasn't moving. She wasn't blinking. She was just sitting there in the dark in a car with no lights on, at a rest stop in the middle of nowhere. I told myself she was just resting, just like me. But something felt wrong. The way she was sitting, too rigid, too still, like a mannequin, like something pretending to be human. I got back in my truck. I locked the doors. I started the engine. And as my headlights swept across her car, I saw something that made my blood turn to ice. Her car wasn't an old sedan. It was a police cruiser, the kind with the lights built into the grille. But the paint was wrong. It was dark, almost black. And the word on the side wasn't police. It was something else. Something I couldn't read in the dark. Then her head turned toward me. Not slowly, not naturally. It snapped. Like a bird. Like an owl. One moment she was facing forward. The next she was looking directly at me. And she smiled. Her mouth was too wide. Her teeth were too long. And her eyes reflected the light from my headlights like an animal's. Yellow. Glowing. Wrong. I didn't think. I just drove. I peeled out of that rest stop and back onto the highway. I didn't look in the rearview mirror. I didn't slow down. I just drove. I made it home that night. I told myself I imagined it. Sleep deprivation. Long hours. It was nothing. Just my mind playing tricks. But 2 nights later I saw her again. Different rest stop. Different stretch of highway. Same dark cruiser. Same woman. Sitting in the driver's seat. Waiting. This time there was another car in the lot. Empty. Driver's door hanging open. Keys still in the ignition. No sign of the driver anywhere. I didn't stop. I kept driving. The next night I asked one of the older guys at the warehouse about it. His name is Frank. He's been driving these routes for 30 years. When I described the woman and the dark cruiser, his face went pale. "You stopped at a rest stop after 1 a.m.? He asked. "I just pulled over for a minute." "Don't ever do that again." He told me the story. 20 years ago, a police officer was killed on that highway. A woman pulled over to help a stranded driver. The driver shot her and left her body on the side of the road. They never caught him. They never found her body until 3 days later. But that's not the part that scared me. The part that scared me is what Frank said next. After she died, people started seeing her. Always at rest stops. Always after 1 a.m. She sits in her cruiser waiting. And if you stop, if you get too close, she asks you a question. "What question?" I asked. "She asks if you saw the man who killed her. If you say no, she lets you go. But if you say yes, if you lie because you think it's what she wants to hear, she takes you. She takes you and you're never seen again." I thought about the empty car with the door hanging open. I thought about the keys still in the ignition. I thought about the driver who was never coming back. I didn't believe the story. Not really. It was just a ghost story. A legend that truckers told each other to pass the time. But I also didn't stop at any more rest stops after 1 a.m. until last night. Last night my phone died. No GPS. And there was an accident on my usual route. I had to take a detour. Roads I didn't know. Highways I'd never driven before. Around 2 a.m. my gas light came on. I had no choice. I pulled off at the next exit. The gas station was old. One pump. A small convenience store with bars on the windows. The kind of place that feels abandoned even when it's open. I filled my tank. I went inside to pay. The man behind the counter didn't look at me. He just stared at a small TV on the counter. The screen was static. "How much for the gas?" I asked. He didn't answer. He just pointed at the register. I paid. I turned to leave. And as I reached the door, he spoke. "Don't stop at the rest stop on Route 9. She's there tonight." I froze. "What did you say?" "Black cruiser. Woman driver. Don't make eye contact. If she asks you the question, don't answer. Just drive." I left. I got back in my truck. And I told myself I wouldn't take Route 9. I'd find another way home. But the detour signs kept pointing me toward Route 9. Every turn I took, every road I tried, they all led back to Route 9. And at 2:47 a.m. I saw the sign. Rest stop 1 mile. My heart started pounding. I told myself I wouldn't stop. I told myself I'd just drive past. But as I got closer, I saw the cruiser parked in the lot. Dark. Engine off. Headlights off. And standing in front of it was the woman. She was out of the car. Standing in the middle of the parking lot. Her uniform was dark. Not blue. Not black. Something in between. And her face was illuminated by the single flickering streetlight. She was looking at me. My truck started slowing down. I don't know why. I wasn't pressing the brake. But the engine was dying. The lights on my dashboard flickered. The radio started hissing static. The truck rolled to a stop. Right at the entrance to the rest stop. She started walking toward me. Not fast. Slow. Deliberate. Her footsteps made no sound on the asphalt. Her eyes never blinked. Her smile never wavered. She reached my window. She tapped on the glass with one finger. Tap, tap, tap. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I just watched as she leaned down and looked at me through the window. Her eyes were yellow. Her teeth were too long. And when she spoke, her voice was like static. Like a radio that couldn't quite find the signal. "Did you see the man who killed me?" I remembered Frank's warning. Don't answer. Don't say yes. Don't say no. Just drive. But my truck wouldn't start. "Did you see the man who killed me?" she asked again. Her voice was louder now. More insistent. Her smile was getting wider. I closed my eyes. I gripped the steering wheel. And I said the only thing I could think of. "I can help you find him." Silence. I opened my eyes. She was still there. But her smile was gone. Her expression was different. Confused. Almost human. "No one has ever said that before," she whispered. "Tell me what he looked like," I said. My voice was shaking. "Tell me anything you remember. I'll help you look. I'll help you search. You don't have to keep doing this alone." She stared at me for a long moment. And then for just a second, her face changed. The yellow faded from her eyes. The too wide mouth softened. She looked like a person. A real person. A woman who had been scared and alone and dying on the side of a highway. "Red jacket," she said quietly. He was wearing a red jacket. And he had a tattoo on his left hand. A snake. "I'll remember," I said. "I'll look for him. I promise." She nodded slowly. Then she turned and walked back toward her cruiser. She got in. The engine started. And she drove away. Not into the darkness. Just away. Down the highway. Until her taillights disappeared. My truck started again. The radio came back on. The dashboard lights steadied. I drove home. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. This morning I went to the police station. I asked about the officer who was killed 20 years ago. They pulled the file. The details matched. Red jacket. Snake tattoo. Never caught. I gave them the description she gave me. I don't know if they believed me. I don't know if it will help. But I made a promise. And I intend to keep it. I still drive the same highway every night. I haven't seen her again. But sometimes when I pass a rest stop after 1 a.m., I see a single set of taillights in the darkness. Waiting. Watching. And I know she's still out there. Still searching. Still hoping. If you ever drive alone at night and you see a rest stop with a single car in the lot, don't stop. Don't get out. Don't make eye contact. But if you can't drive away, if your engine dies and your lights flicker and she comes to your window, don't be afraid. Just ask her how you can help. Because sometimes, the scariest things in the dark are just the ones that need someone to listen.